Morning. And today we're going to visit the Victoria Tunnel here in Hoosburn, and we're going to find out why it was built. So let's begin. Coal mining in the northeast was a massive industry in the early 1800s, and Charles Porter and Edmund Latimer wanted a piece of the action, so they leased the Leazes, Mains or Spittletongues colliery. Initially the coal was carried through the streets of Newcastle on horse and cart, down Northumberland Street to the river, where if you look up in Northumberland Street you'll see the houses were canny posh. They weren't the shops they are now. There were doctors and merchants, and this was dirty, slow and very, very expensive. So Porter and Latimer employed a local engineer, a William Ellison Gillespie, to find a solution. After studying old geological maps, Gillespie realised that there was an old Ice Age riverbed from the Hoosburn to the Spittletongues. So a plan for a tunnel was proposed. Work started in 1839 and it took 2 years, 10 months to complete. Gillespie employed 200 navvies. Wooden markers were placed at intervals down the length of the planned tunnel, and shafts were dug down to the correct depth. As the riverbed was boulder clear, the men would use a technique known as clay kicking to dig the tunnels. They would work 12 hours a day until they reached the next shaft. And the clay wasn't wasted. It was used to make the bricks that lined the walls of the tunnel, and even some sandstone offcuts from the newly built Grangertown were also recycled to help with the structure. Wooden tracks were laid down with a metal topping, and a Tyne side cauldron truck was modified to fit perfectly into the tunnel. The tunnel was 2.4 miles long and at its deepest point was 26 metres. There's only 700 metres accessible today. The colliery and the tunnel closed in 1860 after first Porter and Latimer went into bankruptcy, and also Northumberland Bank, who took over, went into bankruptcy as well. The cauldron trucks used weight and gravity to go down to the river, and a steam engine to haul them back up using a long hemp rope. In 1928, a Thomas Moore established the Victoria Tunnel Mushroom Company. He tried to grow mushrooms at the river end of the tunnel, but failed to grow any and closed the following year. While preparing for the war in 1939, air raid shelters were being sought for major cities, and the Victoria Tunnel was a perfect choice. Initially 16 entrances were planned, with 7 of them actually being created. Most of these would look like small subway entrances, with the Ouse Street allowing you to walk directly into the tunnel. A grand sum of £37,000 was spent cleaning and whitewashing and installing concrete blast walls, electric lighting, flooring, bunk beds and wooden benches were also added and could house up to 9,000 people sheltering during the air raids. Special paint was painted on the walls where the colour would change in the presence of poisonous gases. Half a dozen chemical toilets were also available at the end.
Clarty being dirty and muddy. The reason why it's clarty is back there was a 21st century repair. This is a 20th century repair. If I knock on the concrete here, I'll tell you what I expect concrete to sound. That's not how you'd expect concrete to sound. It's like plasterboard. And that is because there is another tunnel above my head. That tunnel served the Quayside Railway. The Quayside Railway was a single track goods line that took goods from the quayside in a horseshoe shape up to New Bridge Street to Manners Goods Station. And the reason it ran in a horseshoe shape, Newcastle is very hilly.
I'm joking.
Careful of the legs, take a seat. So you are now 55 foot or 17 metres underground. Has it felt like you've been walking downhill? No. But you've actually been walking uphill. If you look at the water, it's running down. But Newcastle being very hilly, you've been walking to the side of a hill. So when you come past that wall, we think that was going to be another entrance, but in view of what happened above, they stopped. What happened above was 4 people lost their lives in a gas-filled crater, Tarset Street tragedy, 1941, if you want to look it up. I'll come on the 2-hour tour, we go into detail with it there. So when you come past that wall, you maybe you see a faces or a line of white from people's eyes, hoping that you're going to give the all clear. Because down here you wouldn't hear anything. You wouldn't hear bombs, you wouldn't hear aeroplanes, you wouldn't hear the all clear. The all clear would sound, and then the warden would clear out section by section. And all children would be asking for the Tyne. It's very important to know the time that the all clear sounds. Why is that? Well, if the all clear sounded a minute after midnight, they got the morning off school. Before midnight, they had to go to school to complain. They're kind of getting out right. Yeah. So, how many people do you think they said could be down here at any one time? Anybody want to give me a figure? 2.5 mile used? Oh. Yeah, and it's thousands, yeah. How many?
Good 20.
15,000, 20,000, below than that. They reckoned 8 to 10,000 people could be down here. And at the time, they reckoned it was really scientific how they did it. It wasn't. Let me tell you, 2 engineers went to the top of Northumberland Street with a tape measure and measured the average Geordie bottom. And the average Geordie bum from hip to hip was 22 inches. So now it's about 48, isn't it? Because, well, mine is. Put weight on in wartime, you weren't pregnant. So, Steve?
Here we go. Who's first?
Not me. I'll tell you something, that magistrate didn't like it when you did it last time. It's only because you said hers. It's only because you said hers was thinner. That's why she let you off. But we know it wasn't a capacity of 10,000. However, we think around about 7,000 were down here. But there's only seats for 2,500, and there was 500 3-tier bunks. There was a bedding for 1,500. So they had a hierarchy for the bunks. Who do you think was on the top?
Kids.
Kids, yeah, not much headroom there. I like the safety feature on the top bunk. Do you know what that is? It's the concrete floor. If you fell off once, you wouldn't do it again. Now the middle bunk, that was for pregnant ladies, nursing mothers, the elderly or infirm. The bottom bunk, that was for people who worked in the war effort. So off-duty firemen, policemen, wardens, nurses.
We'll just have a quick look at this. There's a war movie called The War Down Below, where and this is a lithograph of what was happening during the war down below, because it was miners from this part of the country. This is a clay kicker, you can see the cross and the sliding seat and the shovel, and they were digging underneath the trenches in the First World War. We were doing it, Germans were doing it now. And what it was is we dug underneath and then planted a bomb and blew each other up, you know. Yeah, there's a good movie called The War Down Below, and if has anybody seen Peaky Blinders? Yeah. Well, Tommy Shelby was a clear kicker. One of the episodes where they're in the war and they're digging, and the Germans are digging towards them and they have a big fight with each other. All right. Nearly finished, buddy lad.
If you would like to go on one of these guided tours, just go to the Oosburn Trust. I'll put a link in the description below. And I would love to say a big shout out and a thanks to our guides on the tour, who are Peter and Steve.
You see how the bricks here have sunk down a little bit? This was the last shaft that came down. Yeah, they put it up, they put the bricks in, and then they filled it in from the top. But it sunk down a little bit, this one. Don't worry about it, it's been up here 183 years, so it's not going anywhere anymore. We're at the cloudy bit again, so your life mantra, don't touch the brown stuff.
I hope you enjoyed that little walk up the Victoria Tunnel and find out its history. If you did like this video, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.